Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Warframe. In today's video we're going to take a look at my RAKTA CERNOS build. I've come to find it to be my favourite bow, which is kind of saying something, because bows in general aren't the best weapon type simply because they tend to be single target, which in this game, if you can hit lots of things, it's generally better than hitting one thing. But I do enjoy bows a lot just because of the aesthetic of, you know, using like ninja weapons or whatever. So I do enjoy bows, and RAKTA CERNOS is by far my favourite, and we're going to go over the build for it pretty much immediately. It's worth noting that the RAKTA CERNOS is a weapon that you get from the Red Veil. So, you need to either trade for it or rank up in the Red Veil to get it. But this is the build we got. It's only a one-former build. We have Serration, which gives extra damage. Speed trigger for fire rate, which is actually 120% fire rate because it's a bow, so it's actually doubles your fire rate there, which is quite nice. We have Vigilante Armaments for 60% multi-shot, Vital Sense for 120% critical damage, Split Chamber for 90% multi-shot, Point Strike for 150% critical chance, High Voltage and Thermite Rounds just for status chance plus damage. You can replace this with pretty much anyone you want. Let's have a look. Here you go. Yeah, so you have Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds here as well, which you can swap out in any way you want to get whatever damage type you want. I tend to prefer Radiation, just because if you're not killing something in one hit, there's a good chance that you're going to proc Radiation, and then it's going to be on your side, quote-unquote, or at the very least not on the enemy's side, so it's more helpful if the enemy stays alive that it gets a Radiation proc than the other proc, in my mind. But as you can see here, we have an 87.5% critical chance and a 4.4 times critical multiplier, so you're doing a fair chunk of damage. And we've got 6,800 damage in total. You notice here the quick shot does about half that. The difference, though, is that this bow is insanely fast to draw. If you watch the actual reticle in the middle of the screen, you'll see how fast it is to draw this bow. That's a full draw. You can almost click fire to get a full draw every time. I don't think there's any other bow in the game that gets that kind of speed. As you can see there, it's also relatively accurate if you keep it in the same spot. But I'll do the test. This doesn't illustrate the test amazingly. I'll do level 50 rather than level 80. It can handle level 80, can handle level 100 even pretty easily. But I tend to use bows when I'm doing a stealth mission, or at the very least a stealth type mission. So, doesn't showcase the best in like a murder all the enemies kind of sense. Having said that, at level 50, as long as I'm at least vaguely accurate, it's pretty easy to take out the enemies. I just shot a dead guy. Heavy units will take a bit, as you might imagine, because they're heavy units. Having said that, if you get a couple of the multi-shot hits with a crit, it'll take them out relatively easily. You can also notice their radiation is nowhere near as good on the crewmen as it used to be, simply because shields are now buffed. Having said that, if you get a critical, they still die. See there, with the shield gaining, it does save them somewhat. But you see there with the bombard, you get a couple of the multi-shots to crit, it'll still take it out in one shot, relatively simply. Once again, I shot a corpse, but you know, whatever. And I'm pretty sure that's everybody. Yep, pretty much. So it's a very fast-paced bow, and as I said, I tend to only use bows when I'm doing kind of sneaky missions, when I'm using Avara or Loki. Having said that, if you want to just take them one-on-one, this is one of the better bows to do it as well, which is why it's one of my favorites, because no matter the situation, because it's got such a ridiculously fast fire rate, you're doing a lot of damage relatively quickly to a fair number of enemies, because you can, into a group, you can just fire like that, and you're going to hit a lot of enemies, and a lot of them are going to die in one hit, which is nice to have. But that's pretty much it. So if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Also worth noting that the RAKTA CERNOS looks really, really cool. So there's that too. Anyway, see you guys.